figure out a way to do an electronic, I don't know if that would even work, but an electronic registration, I would do that, but I don't think that would work with this particular group. We just get phone calls every now and then, but word is beginning to get out, and we developed one of the flyers that says it simply starts every quarter, which is about right. That's our goal, is to start one about every quarter and have another one running. Right? In fact, this one's probably going to start right at the end of the other one.
Somebody who's just entering the program, maybe not. But somebody who's halfway through it, who's kind of shown that they're committed to getting the information.
Session or open house or anything like that.
No, but that's a great plan. It's a really good plan. One of the things we do have is every month we have a meeting of the 100 families group here in this community, which is great because that includes people from all the adult ed, EWS, EHS. You've got people there from the hospitals. You've got people there from the unemployment office, the judges' offices, alternative sentencing. You've got all of those people there. So we have an opportunity to speak to them about every month. So we're beginning to get the word out. We started our first class in September with a week's notice. And then the second class we began late January. We had most of January to advertise that. I don't know why that ended up. But that's a good
Eventually, we want to
probably do need to have another information.
while they're there.
Transportation is an issue. Child care is no longer an issue. We're at Portsmouth Adult Ed, and they've got child care. So these ladies are at Portsmouth Adult Ed, and so we've got child care, so that's not an issue. It's really transportation. And it's really interesting because the first couple of nights, I had a student.
So they graduate with it.
I get a lot of this. I get a lot of students that call me with car trouble. I see a lot of car
I
trouble.
was sitting there thinking, I was like,
I had one
none of those
student
kids probably
call
get
me
out
and
of
say,
it.
my car will not start. I'm going to try to jump in. I'm sure I didn't. I might have rolled my eyes. There's a lot of that happens. And it's like, okay, and I'm just planning on seeing him the next night. But he actually showed up that night. He probably has perfect attendance. So it's all really surprised. But it's primarily a transportation issue. There have been some health issues. We do have 3 that have doctor's notes of the flu. We told them to stay home. Well, I just don't want them. We'll catch them up. That's what we'll do. We'll catch them up. The one thing that they struggle to catch up on are going to be these classes that do not have the tooling new modules on them. This class at the very end, on the second page, these classes that are personal qualities, there are no tooling new modules for those. The class that's job applications and interviewing skills, there are no tooling new modules. There's no makeup here. And honestly, if you miss the interviewing skills,
The ability to charge
and
somebody.
that's kind of the way we look at it. We really work hard to try to assure they attend those sessions. The ones with tooling new modules, if they can make those up on their own, we allow them to do that. There's a tooling new SME application for your phone. So a lot of them have that, and they can do that module on their phone. We have laptops available to all of the students. They'll come in, set their laptop up, log into ToolingU, and the first thing they do for the night is they take a pretest. So, for example, if we go back to session 10. So session 10, which is thinking skills, that night they would come in, they would open up their computer. We have some students that are there early. They'll get their computers out, and the first thing they do is they take a pretest, and then they can start the learning module. Now, most of the time, we use the learning module as the PowerPoint that drives that lesson. So for math, we would use the learning module as a PowerPoint that steps them through this. That's the way we would do that, and then a student would take the exam and final exam. We've allotted an hour and a half for each one of those. Typically, some of them are 3 hours because they're a little more difficult. We normally allow an hour and a half. And I wish I could tell you that's enough. Sometimes it's not enough, and sometimes it's way too much. It depends upon the learner. And every learner is different. These people that have done really well on the CRC, if they have a silver or platinum, they breeze through the math sections. They sit there, the instructor works with them, and we may complete those sessions in an hour and a half. Not hard at all. But some of those people really that struggle with math, 3 hours is not sufficient. It's yes, absolutely. If they have a bronze level, you notice it's a problem. Or for that pilot group, the 3 hours was just long. It was, and I had 2 instructors there. Now I don't think you necessarily have to have that, but I like that because what that does for me is in a group of 15, it's real hard for one instructor to keep up with that one group of 15. So I put 2 instructors.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to see
the most difficult.
you get enough graduates.
Probably not the
Kind
most
of how
difficult part in this group. It's
It's
them getting their hands on the technology aspect is probably the most difficult in this group.
Julie used to spend more on camera questions, but we've dealt with some of the local industries who, asked us to keep some other modules out. Julie contacted them, and they would not, they don't have a license agreement for a college. They said it was all individual students. So how, explain how that works.
I'd probably have to talk to Steve and Justin, who may know, but the way this works here is each student gets a license. So AEDC is providing a license for every student here, and each student has their own login, their own username, all that information, and their data is stored and it's tagged directly to their name, date of birth, that kind of thing. So the license is provided by AEDC but given to the student.
In our discussions with Julie, those licenses allow students to access any module that I'll set up an administrator for the school, multiple entities. Basically, whatever modules you give them privileges to view are the modules they can access. Initially, you want to keep it within that and put some time in the curriculum. But if there's something that you see out there that's like, we have an industry here that's looking to hire these, this would be useful. They have access to it from the length of their license, which they're 90-day license. It's, for them coding back, a month later, when they do something, maybe the license may be expired. But for the time they're enrolled in the program, they have access to basically the entire Julie use suite.
Anything you want to give them.
From any reason.
Yeah.
As long as, and you just have to give them permission to see it. There's some debate, you want to give them a chance to see everything, or you want to keep them focused on what they should be. You can even drill it down to, I'll just give you access to view these modules for this week, then the next week.
Yes, you can do that.
On top.
Right.
Or you can give them all up front. It depends on the instructor, their style, which works for
Basically,
the
I could get
students.
a one-time
There's no right or wrong
scholarship to enroll in teacher fit.
Sure.
So with the next class, you're allowing them to do the pre-test modules from home, but then they've got to be in class to take their post-test?
No, they can take-
verify they're the one taking it?
Are we anticipating this?
No, we've not done that either. It's probably a good plan, though. Probably would be a good idea. We allow them to take their final exam at home. You'll know if it was them or not. It sounds really bad, but most of these students fail it the first time they go through it, and then we'll re-lecture or we'll touch that up again. A couple of students, those that are great learners, learn it really quickly and pass the final exam the first time, but a lot of the students fail it the first time.
I'm going to be interested to see how in this class, I think we may have a little bit higher
I think you're right.
learning curve, or learning,
Less of a learning curve.
less of a learning curve,
Yeah, I don't know how to say that.
or potential for
This is certainly a really good group that we have this time as far as they've all passed the CRC, which is really beneficial. If they can pass the CRC, that says a lot about them. It really does.
let's get out to the show. Understanding that it's a question, at what point you deliver this, but really, how do you have a student, how do you intervene to them, how do you assign them to the class? Once they're into it, how do you assign the modules?
I mean, there's a lot of other
Tag to it. And then how do you track their grades or they complete it, not completed,
And whoever your administrator is that will handle, oversee all of this has access to move and add or subtract. Well, you should have delete classes, but you can add classes to it. But I don't think you can delete these classes from the future fit. You'll be given a future fit cohort for the Tooling U SME logins. So it'll already have all of these modules in it. So you'll be set, ready to go for that. But yeah, I guess you can add to it. Yeah, or probably your instructor, my instructor has them.
we recommend that the instructor has an admin privilege and that whomever else for instance, would be an admin. So we don't mind, I have control of that, I give as many admins as I want to.
What's the point though?
More than 2 or 3 is probably overkill.
I have 2.
Even if you have multiple instructors, it probably works better if those, like math instructors work through the primary lead instructor is, you have 2. Absolutely.
So, let me give you an example in the math. I've had a couple of times, especially in the first round, only once in this second cohort, where the student just rushed ahead of everything and took the final exam, failed it, said, oh, I know exactly what I missed, took it again, failed it, and failed it 3 times without the instructor ever knowing it. You know, just not being able to keep up with that many students. Well, if you fail it 3 times, you're locked out. As an administrator, you can go in and override that and give them an additional 1 or 2 chances, whatever you choose you want to do. So I was on my way home one evening when the math instructor,
I'll get in the car.
I don't know what happened to Keith, but for some reason, she's already failed it 3 times. Okay, tell her to slow down. When I get home, I'll fix it. And so I was about 15 minutes away from home. As an administrator, log on, give her 2 more tries. And so I just called one of the instructors and told her, give her 2 more tries, tell her to slow down, and follow through instead of So we've had a couple of those issues, more so last semester than this one. Only once this semester. I think the pass rate is 70%. I think it's 70%.
So how many, as far as the current funding model that's developed, how many cohorts of students do you think that we should do or would do?
Well, in NOU, it's 4. So, depending on when we start this process from there, it's 12 months, maybe a little bit more. It's we can, MOU is really in place to help us with the financial stuff. We need a little more time back in the we don't have a lot of understanding. They did finish it this state. This isn't like a grant for everybody. People come in and beat you over the head with it after it's done. We're here to see the success of the program. It takes a little more time to get that 4th class done or whatever the case may be. We just have to show dedicate everything there. If you do 2 classes over 12 months, we probably will have discussion.
All right, I gotta hit back a little rock.
12 month rolls around and we're just going to get the 4th one set.
You'll be doing it before too long.
We kind of looked at it as the way it's laid out right now, it's 12 weeks long. Times 4 is 48 weeks. Well, shoot, I can't do 48 weeks in a year. I just can't. So we started as soon as we could this year, which was January 27th, because after you get back from the holidays, there's no sense in advertising your holidays because most of our faculty's gone anyway. So we don't come back until the 3rd or 4th of January. I needed about 4 weeks to advertise that. So that's what we did. So in order to get 4 in this year, we're going to shrink the length of the class from 12 weeks to 7 or 8 weeks. I don't know. I put a pencil to it a couple of weeks ago, and I think I'm going to push it to about 104 hours in 4 afternoons, or 4 hour afternoons. That way I can get 4 classes through easier than having to overlap classes. And I can overlap classes, but if I overlap classes, I'm gonna run into classroom space issues. I'm gonna run into, I don't think I'm gonna run into technical issues. I'm just gonna run into, I don't have enough computers to overlap, or I'm gonna have to spread the times. So that's how we that was another reason we tried to shrink this just a hair. Even if we shrink it to 10 weeks, that would be helpful. That would make life a little bit easier. Even if you just went to 4 nights a week and left it at 3 hours, that would be great. That helps you a lot.
We also have the option of obviously, whatever works for you and your local manufacturers. They're really the drivers. We have one employer that we're discussing with, and they hire on a temp to perm basis. They're even in temp, they work out, ready to keep them. Take the ones in that temp position that look like they're keepers, run a class specifically for them, nothing with them. Probably condensing the time, do it after work, they got the job right when they finish up. So you can be creative, when they worked, actually they did a great job this first one, they tweaked it, now we're gonna do it. The current class is date, we don't care, what works for you.
So if one employer has the entire cohort,
One employer can't have the entire cohort. You want to arrange it.
If I had one employer that came to me and said, I want to put 20 students in here, I'd jump on it. Absolutely.
Even if it's a parent, what the parent employer say, I can't, don't need, I can take stuff, and someone else, I can take
like they came out of the woods.
In that instance, you want to be sure that
the
beforehand,
point
do some pre-interview, employers, make sure they have the right one, and go through it, and come out and say, well, I don't even hire this guy. For what you, regardless of how much. So in those instances, make sure we'll do all the due diligence in front of you.
Sure.
But if you can find one or two, or one students, go for it. I say, we set this up before you somehow, you got a situation where you want to run 5.
I guess that's kind of where I was going with that. If it's successful,
Really?
just keep rolling, or do we need to
Once we put the work and you want to get a fit, just
contact you
keep
guys
us
and say, looks like we've got more?
as long as we know what's going on, and make sure that our partners are resting, so go for it. I don't foresee that being a problem.
Yeah.
So the shipping documents that I signed with Amacross says everything should be to us by the end of May. So we'll probably.
It won't be there sooner. I can assure you of that. It will not.
We're anticipating July or August.
Understood it might be
to
June.
actually start.
It could be that. I don't know.
And the way that, it's my understanding, the way that they run the credit union, they actually run the first
Yeah, that scares me to death.
Yeah.
What do you
You
do
and
if
me
you get to
both.
that point and it's not there?
I don't recommend it, but we were trying to pilot this thing, and they told us we could get our hands on one skill boss. So we thought, okay, we'll start this thing, and then we'll move everyone to our machine shop where we have a lot of stuff. We don't have the Amateur skill boss, but we have a lot of equipment. We've got plenty of the gauging and no-go gauges. We've got all that equipment. So we moved to the machine shop. We were probably in there a couple of weeks just working on the stuff we had when the first Amateur skill boss came up. And so we got their hands on it finally about 3 or 4 weeks left in the program. Yeah. So we kind of rearranged things because of that. We pushed all the HR stuff, all the personal qualities and interpersonal skills. We pushed that to the front to try to save time till the skill boss got there. And we only got one. And then our second one came in, I don't know, but right after we got back from the holidays, January 3 or 4 or something. That's when our second one came in. And you're not going to get it. I mean, it's 90 days. It doesn't matter.
At least.
It's kind of funny. I think it's 90 days on the dot, as a matter of fact. I think, and they will not move. They will not budge. Nothing. I mean, I thought because Justin and them are buying I don't know, potentially 20 of these things, right?
Yeah, that's kind of what
It's
I'm
two
figuring.
per institution.
Yeah, so I thought for sure they'll budge and that's correct. That's exactly.
And, you know, we thought if we tried to push them out, by 20, we have people who are 30 pages.
Yeah.
So you're no big deal.
Didn't know
Yeah.
Arkansas is
Put one
like,
PO.
No, I like the
one
direct
PO, like,
PO.
So they're like, yeah, okay.
That's just my opinion.
Yeah. So what type of data do the colleges need to provide?
Our expectation is, for lack of a better term, kind of constant, keep this, we don't need daily grade reports or weekly. What we're really interested in is when the class debates, when it's going to start,
Yeah.
and when you go, how the format is.
However,
It can change.
well, I mean,
Yeah, 4 classes in 12 months, each of those 4 can read.
no, and I don't think it should.
We didn't know it started the end.
I just don't.
When it's completed,
If you're wanting to have the impact.
really, before that,
You want to have
which employers have you been out
what you have.
during this time? Do you have your graduation?
You don't want to put it in that.
What are the expectations of the individuals? So they have signed
It needs to be modernized, it needs to
we'll
be
do it again.
attractive, it needs to be visually appealing, so that when you bring in,
4 or 5.
when you're bringing people in,
5 jobs.
stand,
You got pretty good.
shiny new thing. Yeah.
So we would, really hire them, and then when we work these employers, particularly ones we met with initially, we kind of say, yes, we're interested in your fit. A lot of feedback we get will come from them. We're getting ready to reach out to the employers that hire this first girls and hey,
Yeah.
what's working, what's not? Did they have this, should they have had more training here versus somewhere else? You know, just, what do we need to tweak on our end to make sure that you're getting the product you need, which is the student. Really, how many to start with, how many drug, however, in that first pathway, how many started, how many are still there, how many graduated. If we see, if we don't have,
building right
we don't have
down
more
the
than this,
list.
strong for 20 people,
The mayor's
some
saying, well,
weird apple.
that's right.
Maybe there'll be 10, midterm,
No, we really don't.
we hope it's not the norm, but I think pretty typical is what Tim will have with this class. They had 21 they started with, they're 15.
You don't want to
Just
underutilize.
what I know of education, 75%
I agree though, I mean, it's easier selling.
pretty standard, or 75% maintain 25%. It's pretty standard.
Do you track the reasons people drop?
Well, I don't, but I mean, I could easily go back and look at those and tell, because we stay in such close contact with our students. Cameron, especially once Cameron's there, we're texting students every day, just reminding them that it's kind of part of what. I think there's, and I don't know if this is the right term to use here, but I think there's a lot of hand-holding that goes on in this. It's coming alongside, well, yeah, a lot of cheerleading and coming alongside of people and ensuring
I agree there.
that they're there. And Cameron kind of goes out of his way.
Highway, I
He's
got a
driven 15
130.
miles to
Well, I
get
got a
the student up
133
and brought him, and
so.
I told him not to do that, but he's just got a really big heart. He's trying to help somebody out, and so I've taken a student home a couple of times. I mean, it's just kind of what we do with this group. It's kind of what we do. Now, when we talk about attendance policy, I keep a list of the attendance, and I provide that list to the employer when they ask. So here's his attendance, here's her attendance, this is what she did for us. And so I want them to know what they're getting. Of the 6 that have found jobs, we only know of 1 that's been terminated, and that was due to non-attendance. Just, it was a tardy issue, then it was a no-show, then it was a no-show, then he was back with no explanation, and the next thing you know, he's terminated because of no attendance. So it happens, it's gonna happen. It's trying to help them change their mindset. I mean, that's a part of what we do. We really try to work with them, but at the same time, we want them to understand that attendance is important.
During the 312 weeks going on, do you provide employer updates on
Well, we stay in touch with them all the time. I don't guess we give them any specific updates as to where we stand, but we do talk to them all the time, just reminding them, hey, we're going to have a group of future kids that's going to graduate probably this time frame. We're going to need you to come and interview. In this case, we're going to need to be interviewing April the 13th. So that's when we'll begin interviews on the 13th, and probably graduate this class around April the 16th, 17th. That'll give them about a week. We might give them a little bit ahead start. Now that I think about that, we might push that out a little far. We might need to get the employers involved a little sooner.
Are the interviews part of the class or just?
No, it's in addition to the class. So we have them come and they can stay after class and interview if they want to. But most of the employers would like to get them over to the plant and take a walk through the plant and let them see what they're going to actually be getting into. Yeah. And we really did have two of the students that had multiple offers that had to turn down, which was great. And then, of course, again, we had 3 students that didn't get offers. Let me see if that's true. Yeah, there's 3 students that didn't get offers. And again, the one without the GED that was a mistake on our part. It was as we were signing up, somehow we missed that. She'd been there for 2 weeks, and then we realized, oh, she doesn't have a GED. Now we kind of have a problem. But she completed the class, and she was about the most energetic of the whole class. I can assure you that.
So is she working on her GED now?
I don't believe so. No. She's 63, and we pushed her to a one of the warehouse management jobs, and she had a little bit of interest, but not a lot. She was really looking forward to a manufacturing job with benefits. That's what she was looking for. But
On your graduation.
can't fix everybody, right?
At your graduation ceremony, so if you had a student that had extenuating circumstances due to illness or other family emergency, and so maybe they missed, one of the course, you still allow them to continue on and graduate?
So my goal is to get everybody to complete all of the tooling U modules by graduation. That's my goal. I really don't want them to miss any of those classes that don't have the tooling U modules, but I'll catch them up on everything else. So when we graduated, of the 9 that graduated, there were 9 students, and all of them had caught up 100% on tooling U modules. So we didn't really graduate anyone if they missed a module. I guess that's a good question that we'll probably ask this round. What happens if someone doesn't have a module? But one of the things we're doing on a regular basis every week is where is Randy this week? Where's Kendall this week? Who's behind? Who do we need to get caught up? We're always doing that every week. Yeah, because we're trying to catch people up as much as possible.
Did any students ask if there was a guarantee of an interview at the end? Or did they just know, hey, if I go through this thing, there's going to be a good shot at an interview? Or did any of them ask, hey, what will I have a shot at an interview? Or will I have a guarantee?
So some of them thought this was a guaranteed job. That's what they thought. And so we had to tell them constantly this is a guarantee of an application process. Okay, it's kind of like the used car company, all applications accepted, right? No guarantee of an interview, no guarantee of a job. But we're telling them that the whole time. But we're also telling them if you have drug, alcohol problem, fix it now. You've got 12 weeks. Here's resources. If you need to get that fixed, get it fixed now. You've got resources that come alongside you and help you fix that because you will be drug screened. So that's going to happen. We were telling them that. We were telling them the importance of their attendance. We're telling them, all of that's going to be given to potential employers. And we had, of the 9, everyone was interviewed except the one without a GED. So all 8 of them were interviewed. Yeah. That really wasn't an issue.
Were you in charge of the drug screening?
No.
You just
I probably should have.
saying.
Just
we'll
trying
make
to
it-
tell them
we'll
it's
make
going
it
to come.
employed.
I mean,
Because I was thinking that's, when we had our meeting with our employers, Steve mentioned that the drug screen would be a part of the class. I was thinking he said that. I may be wrong.
might not be a bad plan. But yeah, we had one student that argued pretty profusely that he had his medical marijuana card, and I'm like, well, no guarantees. And in fact, he's the one that refused the drug screen. And so he's making $10 an hour, and he's making minimum wage. But he's got 30 hours a week, so it's probably better than he was anyway.
And if it's allowed, we may look at taking that out of the cost of you know,
Sure.
the program. I test for all my technical studies courses. I don't for workforce development, but for my core credit courses, I do. Because we just kept getting so much flack from the employers, you know, oh, they're not drug free. We can only handle so much and do, you know, I cannot go home and make sure they're not smoking weed. You know, I mean, but we thought if we layer that in, it would help because, you know, I mean, and I'm sure a lot of us struggle with this, but, you know, we always talk about first generation college. They're first generation employment.
That's correct.
And they've never seen anybody go to work, they've never seen the consequences, and, you know, it's a whole different ballgame. And so that handholding is huge, but just to try to layer some of that in, and, you know, I mean, we just do a basic drug test, but we're fixing to move to a hair test, it's gonna be more, but that's also but for this, we just do really see that maybe
Does it cost you $100? Is that $100 a person?
it's right under $100.
I was thinking it's right there. We do that for our CDL program.
Well, and we do it for our nursing programs, you know, so if it can be, they're aware of it. You know, the first semester we did it, we told them we would cost until the word got out that way. And then we moved it to student account.
Well, and you get invested in these people. I mean, I know every one of these by name. I know their extenuating circumstances. I know specifically which one has felonies, what their felonies are. I've heard their stories. I've sat and talked with them. I know their stories. And it's a great program to help people get back on the track.
The ones who got interviews but didn't get hired, are the employers giving you feedback of why?
Yeah.
So
One-
you had that to go back to
So
that
of the
person
two-
to talk to them?
So, of the two that were interviewed, one has a violent felony. And I mean, you know, when you're labeled as a sexual predator, chances are you're probably going to have a difficult time finding it.
Right now it's geared more.
So that's why he couldn't find a job at either one of the manufacturers. The second one, it's an issue of not returning phone calls, not returning emails, no answering machine on his phone, or no voicemail set up, yeah, and just not responding. The kid was a welder. I said kid, but anyway, he was a welder at one point. I mean, he could weld. He just was happy living with grandma. And I know it sounds bad, but that's exactly what it is. It's just true. You just can't. You understand, right? It just breaks my heart because he could have had a really great job at either one of these places. He was probably a top candidate everywhere. And then the guy that was terminated was at Ream is where he was. He scored the highest in all of the interviews at Ream. He scored the highest, but just had an attendance issue.
What was the kid that you were referring to? What was his reason for joining the class? Or was it?
Well, I don't really know, but my guess is Grandma made him. Right? I mean that's my guess. Is Grandma probably thought this would be a good plan. You go do this and get a job. And
then grandma enables him so he doesn't have to.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, a little bit of that.
So when you were telling them, you know, this is a good opportunity to get drug free, you got 12 weeks to do that, did you let them know that they'd be drug tested on the employer level?
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely. We were always telling them before you accept the job, you will get a drug screen at some point.
And they could potentially be drug screened many times if you don't have the employers to apply to.
Absolutely.
And it's like they don't do it. So that's why we did start, you know, college level programs at time. Because, you know, if they have it happen, oh my gosh, then also it's reality. It's not something just, oh, if they might not know this reality. I was thinking it might be worth it.
Yeah. Now the warehouse job that I showed up there, they don't drug screen. They don't care. They just send us workers. We don't care. So I guess there's always a fallback. I don't have to work at Sonic anymore. Now I can go over here and work and get 30 hours in. That's $300 a week. I might get a little on that if I'm living with mom or whatever. It was actually a Fort Fidel Bed School. You understand, right? I mean, it's just, you see it all the time, and you just can't change everyone's mindset. I wish you could. Sometimes, yeah, that's the case.
But the 70% is really good. Because a lot of these students that come from Hurricanes
Yeah.
and also the energy, that is good. So
Yeah.
for what we were talking about.
Right.
That's a good completion rate.
I think so too.
I think one of the issues for us is with your population base, and you were able to get 20, and we're about a fourth or maybe a fifth of your population. You know, we're probably in reality looking at 10,
Yeah.
10 to 12. You know, we've had programs similar to this before, and we would always try to start with 15, knowing that you're going to, by halfway point, be down to 10 probably.
We have 5 lined up for April. We don't know when we're starting the class. We don't know what time. We're thinking about reworking all of this. I should already know by now, but I don't. I think it'd be really hard for us to get 20 in. I mean, it's just going to take a little while to build up the momentum of this program exists and this program, but people are beginning to hear about it. Like Portsmouth Adult Ed is beginning to hear about it, and you say, okay, we think we can fill a class with just alternative sentencing people. And so as the word gets out, you'll do a lot better. I think that's what we found well, from the first and second much better. But yeah, it's a good point. I mean, just because of population alone.
Other than free promotional activity, what do you from a paid standpoint?
I boost Facebook ads a little bit, not much, probably not as much as I should.
Are you finding Facebook full list of people you want to get in touch with?
Yeah, for this particular population, kind of. Yeah, it's a matter of can you boost it enough to get it in where they are.
We struggle whether Facebook is the right social media to use or not.
I understand. No, I understand. We're having this discussion about that and Twitter and TikTok, and I don't really know
TikTok's the
anything.
one we keep going.
Yeah, I think, I don't know, no guys, so I don't know. That's right.
I'm
No.
just kind of proud us boomers stole Facebook. I mean, that was pretty good of us to do that.
Well, I know, that's true. We kind of own Facebook. But the thing about
It was a college
TikTok,
program that we stole it.
this particular group, I'm not so sure any of them came from Facebook. I think they came from their sponsors, like through Adult Ed or through Harbor House, so those things. And so their sponsor kind of pushed them to it. So I think what I'm doing is not necessarily advertising to the student. I'm advertising to all of the various agencies that are attached to us. It's kind of the way I've looked at that.
Recommended to us corrections counties to reach out to the various church groups there.
Yeah. We have a couple of church groups that are part of our 100 Families program, and they're very actively involved. In fact, the student that went to work at Ream that was terminated, he could have gotten 4 paychecks. There's a church in town that would have begun to help with his transportation. So they would have helped purchase the car, and he would have paid it out. Yep. Yeah, so I tell enough, you know who it is. So, I mean, yeah, I think that'd be a good plan. All of
We
it.
get them to grasp.
Yeah, it is. It is.
And you guys hand holding is a big deal.
It's important. I think it's real important. But at some point, we let go. You know, we just have to let go, and then, gosh, we hate it when we get a phone call and say, "Oh, we had to terminate because it's horrible." Yes.
So have you tried to talk to the graduating seniors?
So we're in discussion. When we first started this program, we started down at a future school. It's a charter school here in town. What they want to do is they know of a group within the school that they're not going to go on to college, but what they want to do is they want to stay local. They want to go to work. The trick is they need to be 18 to go to work. So you need to find students that are right at that 18-year-old range, and you need to train them is what you need to do. So we have one student from future school that will turn 18 in May, and so he's going to enroll in our April class. So that should go April, May. We probably graduate in early June would be my guess. So he'll be the first one that's in
We are vocational and career tech classes, courses in high school.
Yeah.
I would think that most seniors are gonna be 18 sometime around when they graduate, right?
A lot of them are 17.
So, I guess I just thought that was kind of a good group.
It is. It's a real good group. I think if you could market to that group, I think it'd be fantastic.
Of course, we're gonna miss out on this year's group. I mean, as far as.
You're not gonna be ready to go.
Well, we're not gonna have our equipment back.
Well, when's your equipment coming?
Well, they're saying 90 days from, they just got the MOU last week. So that looks like June to me.
Okay, so you can start the program, and you don't need the equipment until you get to session. Well, rearrange it, shove all the social and intersocial skills up front, and push the skill ball section out until later. So you don't really need it until session 10. So that's 3 weeks, and you can probably push it out another week or two if you rearrange this.
I think they were ordering it last week, but now, I'm not positive that he stopped by and
It
talked
took
to
longer than 90 days for me to
Did it?
get mine.
He stopped by and talked to me last week, and he said that.
I was supposed to start mine in January.
Oh, really?
Well,
Oh, that'd be great. That would be a really good
Steve
plan.
gave the MOUs
Yeah.
to the Eversol guys last week.
Yes.
Can you talk
So
about
we didn't.
the budget, how your budget works? You said that you guys came up with it here.
Or you didn't have to do a PO or?
Well,
You know, you called it at night, so were you anticipating overload?
I think they got them last week.
Cameron is a
But
12-month
however,
employee,
Steve
so
said
not eligible for loans.
Yeah, he said that today.
And
So I'm
we
not
developed
sure
this as one of his
where that
classes.
is.
So he's teaching this
So
as,
yeah,
I think there's 48 hours here that he's teaching it. I think. And then all the others I hired as adjuncts, just at an adjunct rate. That's the way I hired them. And then I paid for a breakfast for the employers. I paid for a great graduation reception. Paid for just a little bit of advertising. It's not even. And then I've got some administrative assistant time and doing some advertising and development. But I think you'll find that you'll be okay by the time you get finished. It's
Just
about
the tooling I assume is the biggest part of the budget.
So the tooling U is going to be provided to you, so that won't come from your budget.
Okay, so we won't see that.
You won't see it. No. In fact, what I did in this particular instance with this round, I requested, and I did it the day we began, because the way enrollments work is, enrollments may come the day of, we just take them. And so the day of, I requested 20, I'd already requested 15, I requested 6 more the day of. I got 21 usernames and passwords from 2NU, and that night they were able to log in. And then there was some attrition that first week or two, and I turned right around and reached out to Justin and Steve, and I reached out to 2NU as well and said, I want you to reimburse these licenses because I'm going to drop these, whatever it was, 6 students. I'm going to drop these 6 students. I want you to reimburse those licenses.
Are you actually going to have theirs?
No, Steve is paying for all of that.
So that's not coming out of the hour?
It's not coming out of your budget.
Okay.
No, but I'm pretty hands-on with 2NU. I just got to tell them what I want, and I just said, this is what I want you to do, and I want you to do it today. And so I didn't purchase, but Steve purchased 21 licenses from them. I'm not going to use all 21. I just reached out to everybody and said, reimburse them those 6 licenses, and they did real quick. They didn't argue about it. So he's paying for 15 licenses.
That was just to save Steve's money.
Just to save Steve money, not me, but I'm just trying to save ABC, well, OSD.
How long will we have access to the tooling U curriculum?
Well, I
No?
mean, I guess from the time you sign in till the time you're done, as an administrator, you're gonna have access all the time.
But I mean,
90 days is what they want.
in years to come.
Oh, I think when we're finished with Future Fit program, it goes away. Because this is kind of a license for an LMS, and the student's gonna get 90 days for these modules and any other modules they wanna add in. Students can do anything else they want. But then after 90 days, their login and everything goes away. So Steve and them are purchasing 90-day licenses for this. And then for us, as administrators, they're purchasing, I don't know how the deal's structured, but they're purchasing lifetime membership until that agreement with 2U is gone.
Does each student have their own unique ID and password?
Yes, they do. They have their own username and password. Yep. Typically, it is, well, it'd be like, for me, Kendall Ross, K. Ross. It's typically something simple like that, and it's attached to their email address. One of the things we do in our registration process, we learned this the hard way, is we ask for an email address. You'd be surprised how many people don't have an email address, but they got a phone. And so we ask them to put their email address on here, and we verify that real fast to try to make sure it really does exist, because they're going to use that for their login, or it'll be attached to their login. Well, that's what we always said, but the first round, we didn't, I guess we probably didn't say that very clearly the first round. In the first round, pardon?
What was the question?
Oh, is it a requirement to have an email address? Yes, it is a requirement to have an email address. It's certainly this round, we've been on top of that really good. I've got an administrative assistant that the moment they register, she says, have you taken the CRC? No. Okay, I'll schedule you tomorrow, be here tomorrow at 8 o'clock. I mean, she's just like that, because we give the CRC. And so she's been really good to make that all happen. So we just make sure that everything's kosher with the students.
Are we supposed to grab a thumb drive from Justin? I heard maybe.
So your instructor, Eric,
Yeah.
will get a thumb drive as he leaves today that'll have all of your class folders on
As long
it.
as he's got it.
Yeah, it'll have,
So that's where they're giving them out? I don't
Justin will get it to you. Won't be a problem. We'll make sure we get you one. What we had offered to do is provide all of this to a repository from AEDC, but they don't exactly have one yet. So we said, well, let's use USB drives.
What if we just had a Google Drive that we all shared?
Well, that's what I thought too, but Steve and Justin are working on it. So, what I wanted to do is I want to give it to AEC and I want them to give it to you. If that makes any sense. I don't mind when you reach out to me. I'll give you anything we've got. I'll give you. It's just I was trying to make it so much simpler. Just give it to them and let them be responsible for it. I'm going to give it to this person and not give it to this person. That's what I wanted them to do. You're welcome to anything we have.
Do you think we'll be able to go directly to you and issues, or do we go to Justin?
I'd go straight to Tooling U. I mean, on the Tooling U side, my math instructors found a couple of errors, and so we reached right out to Tooling U. They corrected them. My safety guy wrote a scathing letter. You just have to know him, man, he's good. But anyway, he wrote just a scathing letter that it was written at, grade 17, it needs to be written at grade 8. I mean, he was, but anyway, I just passed it on, and
You thought this Tooling U was written at grade 17?
yeah,
Do you think that it is?
yeah, there are sections of Tooling U. We're recording, so I need to be real careful what I say here, but Tooling U is who AEDC has contracted with. So you're going to use Tooling U. That's probably the way I should say that. It's an LMS. It's not perfect. It's just, it's cumbersome at times. And we actually removed one of the safety modules. One of the safety modules was hearing protection. And we removed it just because of the way it was worded, the way the test operated. We just didn't like it, so we just removed it.
Is there a main point of contact there, like Gretchen?
So Gretchen kind of oversees everything, and then there's a lady named Nicole McCafferty who is really handling everything now. she went on maternity leave right in the middle of our first class, and then she came back in mid-January. She's fantastic. You can just email her, and she'll fix it for you that day.
Okay.
That's part of the reason we struggled to get logins is whoever was replacing Nicole while she was out on maternity leave didn't know they were supposed to be providing us that information, so we're down to the wire, and we don't have two new logins this round, and we got them the day of, but it was fun. Actually, we got them. We did the introduction class. We didn't have them, and then we did the introduction to computers and online learning, and we didn't have them that night. We had them the next day. So it was our math instructors that kind of had to do all of that. This is the way you log on, this is the way you get in. So.
On the miscellaneous safety discussions, I'm going to assume that those were the elective part of OSHA 10.
And an extension for, so even though they say an hour and a half each, we would take those and spread those out across the entire section of nights as needed, okay? Because there were some nights where, gosh, 3 hours didn't quite get it, so we just added to that. We recognized that there just needed to be some slack, if you will, in each one of those classes, and that's the way we built that in.
Can we probably mention this, but what did you have to buy that Amatrol did not provide? A pancake compressor, air lungs, and safety glasses?
Yeah, Justin, there's in your packet, there's a list. And you'll get this electronically on your USB drive, or I'll shoot it to you. There's the Skill Boss with the optional toolkit is that precision gauging equipment. Then there's the go, no-go gauges. We bought safety glasses and over-prescription safety glasses and earplugs, and then we bought a pancake compressor from Amazon. I don't remember how much it was, but maybe less than $200.
Okay, yeah, I see it here, sorry about that.
No, that's fine. I mean, it was just one of those things, it was kind of an afterthought of, from your OSD money, you're gonna need to buy this. I mean, we didn't include it in the original MOU as we were thinking through everything.
So you even gave us the Amazon link.
Yeah, there's the links. You can purchase them from there. It makes it easy. And you'll get that as an electronic document. If you don't, you can shoot me an email. I'll send it to you. Originally, we thought we would do this in our lab. So we kind of thought we had plenty of air, and then we realized, no, we don't. So we set this up down at Future School, and then we moved it over to Fort Smith Adult Ed. We've got both of them set up down there.
Run that through a local grid or a local something other than as a local administrator that.
Steve and Justin have been great to work with. I mean, they've been real flexible with us. We have, for example, we're a border state, so we had a student from Oklahoma residents. How are we going to take that? How are we going to set that? They were very flexible and said, you know, if you think the student has an opportunity to go to work in Fort Smith, well, that's kind of where people across the border work, then yes, then go ahead and train her. And I'm glad we did, because she's one of the ladies that's got a job at Ream, and she's just doing fantastic. So
We have just a reverse challenge what you've got.
Okay.
Because the employers
are across.
are in Tennessee.
Yeah.
For us.
That might be a different issue.
Yes, it is.
It is a different issue. Yeah, you need Arkansas employers here.
So we tried to position it with anybody who qualifies as a student residency standpoint for us, and that would include who we're trying to hit.
I think, and I talked to Cody, and he told me, he said, I'm not trying to be a butt, but he said, you're going to have to make sure that you have employers on the back end that are ready to accept students. And I think that's true. I think you need to be really closely connected to your employers and make sure they're there, ready to interview as soon as this thing is over with. You don't want to train a bunch of people and then they're just gone out into the community. You want to be the hand holding and connect them to the employer. And when they cross into the employer, I have to let go. Whatever happens, happens. So I'd say build a really good coalition with your employers so that you can make sure that we're going to have a place for that training.
The same people are sent out from the Northwest Arkansas Council that were working on this, they were working with those artificial transit
Would I forget?
Added some more ideas. They've got some smaller toolboxes to do some things with, and they were.
Again, you should have all of these electronic documents on your USB drive, and if you find when you get home that you don't, then just shoot me an email, or everybody sign this. Like you, I can
You may have addressed this and
ask it again.
I didn't hear.
It's fine.
Okay, what documentation requirements are needed from the school to go to OSD, to Sparks? Who is this information going to go to, and how are you tracking it? What are you turning in?
Sure. So we do, most generally for grants, we've always done sign-in sheets. They've not asked for those, but we do sign-in sheets because it kind of holds everybody accountable. I give attendance. They ask for pre-test averages, final exam averages, and so all of that data is available on your Tooling View module. You just print it out. It's all available. How many students were graduated? How many students went where? So what student went, so I just have a spreadsheet. Student A went to Ream, student B went to HSM Solutions, C went to Trade.
So it's just an Excel spreadsheet basically that you've created, and you're sending this to?
I sent it to Cody Waits.
Cody, okay.
That's who I sent it to. He's the one that asked for it first, and then I copied Justin and Steve.
Okay.
Did you capture the hiring wage also?
I did.
I would capture anything I could come
I
up with.
captured the hiring wage, which was $13.65 to $14.50, minus the one student that went to work at 10. But, I mean, 10's good.
Right,
I mean,
it's a job.
considering where he was.
Right.
So, yeah.
And who brings this resources, he's friendly to help you.
He's very friendly.
What else?
We've had him spoken at our conferences and then
If you think of questions, just shoot me an email. You've got my card now in that blue folder. You should have my card. You can shoot me an email and just ask me. Pretty easy. I'll answer as quick as I
Thank you
can.
guys for piloting this. You've done a good job.
Hey, we've had a good time. I mean, it's really been fun. I mean, we've enjoyed it. It's been challenging, I'll tell you that. It really has. But I think you'll find this is a great program. I don't think it will cost you anything. I think this is one of those things where, like Dr. Warden said this morning, I think you can actually cover all of your expenses, everything, and still in the end be okay. That's what I think. Yes, ma'am.
I was gonna ask you about what type of experience do you think an instructor needs to have to actually teach the part with the skill loss?
A good hands-on technical person would be great. So someone with a technical background that perhaps teaches electrical or fluid mechanics or hydraulics, pneumatics, PLCs, something along those lines. I think if they're good at hands-on, they'll be fine with this. I mean, it'll be pretty self-explanatory, but there's a lot of skill, they're called skill labs, that come with the Amatrol when you purchase that equipment. And if you've got someone that can do that kind of stuff, it'll be fine.
Of course, you also want somebody that can answer a question
Well,
when there's a problem.
that's
so
true too. Yeah.
We could get in there and run the machines, but would we have to answer to the?
I don't even think I can run the machine. I used to work in manufacturing for years, and I just don't think I can run that machine. I just look at it and go, man, there's a lot of stuff there. But I'm sure I can learn it, but I just don't want to at this point in my life, I guess. That's probably maybe that's what I should say. I don't want to do that. Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, I'm assuming you have other job responsibilities in addition to future fit. But how much of your time is future fit?
So this is probably about,
Or you just work longer days?
this is about 10 or 15% of my job, I would think. It's a pretty hefty amount. Yeah, I mean,
I actually would have thought more, certainly at the beginning.
oh, at the beginning, there were days it was 50%. Yeah, early on, I was very hands-on. In fact, it was kind of odd the way this all went about. As we started in March of last year, negotiating, sorry, working on my language here, negotiating with Steve and them about how to develop all this curriculum and how to get it into a platform where everybody could use it. Because Tool and U felt as if, and I know I'm being recorded, so it's all cool. Tool and U felt as if they were done. The problem is, you've got to get it from that format into a format that all of us can use. So in March of last year, I was an instructor, so I was very hands-on in this. This was my baby. I was going to be very involved in this. And then right as we were making the transition, I moved to the director in July. So my hat flipped, and I became the hands-on person for Future Fit and driving it through. And so it's been a fun project to start on. I originally thought I was going to be the one teaching it, but now I'm just the one kind of directing all the paths and answering phone calls and all that kind of stuff, which is fun. I love doing it.
It might cause some self-termination, yeah, as we call it in the workplace.
Anything else? All right. Shoot me an email if you think of something. Call me, whatever you do. Rarely at the office, so an email works better. I get that at home.
Well, thank you for the.
You're very welcome. Very welcome. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. You bet. Happy to help.